the Trade Centre Wales and Trade Centre UK are massive now, absolutely massive. So it worked. Yeah,
it certainly did.
And it was great fun to do all those silly voices as well in the early days.
Oh, you're great. And you still deliver it on point. You are as enthusiastic. If anything, I think you've got more energy behind it more than ever. I love the new advert. I think it sounds brilliant.
Well, I'll let you into a secret. A good friend of ours, a good producer friend of ours, Andy Griffiths.
He's a legend.
He produces those. He is a legend, and he produces the ads. And in my cans I get thanks Mike, that's fine, more energy Mike, more energy, push it. So I've got him in the ear.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he? Oh, I've missed Andy. Yeah. I must reconnect with him. Absolute legend. He is. But I mean, with obviously everything going on, you haven't been in the normal studio. It's probably been a little box somewhere, is it?
Yeah, it's under the stairs. It's basically a studio that Andy and I have built. And we literally have, I shouldn't be giving all these secrets away, but I have to say the sound is fantastic. We got a load of old like deck chair stuff, the cushions you put in a deck chair, like those cushions. Yeah. And we just put them right the way around me. And we put the microphone in the middle, and on top of my head, we use all the foam, and I just lean in.
Well, it works, because I think the new ads are on point. You sound brilliant, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, the sound is just incredible in there. And Andy always says, gosh, all the times, we used to struggle to get the right sound in various studios that we would use. And here we are under the stairs with some sunbed cushions and some foam. And but it's all about the decent microphone, so that's one thing we do have.
And talking of sound, actually, while I've got you on this subject, Mike, we must talk about the infamous Trade Centre Wales advert on the telly, which had no sound. I mean, was that done deliberately? Was it an accident? Because everyone talked about it. It was just incredibly genius, or it was a dull thing that worked.
See, we're talking about it.
Exactly.
We're talking about it, and you can imagine you get radio. You've got your commercials there, blah 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 blah, toothpaste, blah 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 blah, supermarket, and then
nothing.
What do you do? Everybody looks up from this. If you're not watching the TV or you're in the kitchen, you'll come and go, oh, what's happened to the TV? And there it is, cars from $9,999 or $4,999 or £25 a week or whatever. And there it is, and people ring me up and say, oh, the sound doesn't work on your ad, Mike. I said, no, it's meant to be like that. Really? Yeah. Everybody talked about it.
Genius. The amount of people that grabbed the remote and were like, volume, what's going on with my telly? And then all of a sudden the next advert pops on, and genius. Absolutely genius.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I mean, it's been a tough old year, hasn't it, for performers such as yourself? I mean, you're on the cruise ships, you're on pantos, everything just gone overnight.
Well, yeah. I mean, Panto finished in January 2020, right? And we were watching the TV, and everyone could see that there was a Princess cruise ship out in Japan that had this virus, and people weren't allowed off, and they were all kept in their cabins, and it became world news. And we were all saying, oh, look what's happening over there. You see, the other side of the world, right? So I finish the Panto. I start my Rocking with Laughter show at the new theatre, the packed house. I mean, absolutely rammed, jumping, bouncing audience. We have a great night. I then fly to Dubai. I sail to Sri Lanka. I fly from Sri Lanka back to the UK, 2 days at home. I then fly to New Orleans, which at one point was one of the hottest breeding grounds for coronavirus, right? I'm out there. The Mardi Gras are on. There is thousands of people in the streets, right? I then sail to Miami and then up to Charleston, South Carolina. I then fly from there down to Patagonia, which is I've got stories about Patagonia that would last the entire week. I mean, I got off the plane, right, in Patagonia, and it said, Croeso, Madryn.
Wow.
I thought, and a Welsh dragon. I thought, what's going on to me? How do they know I was coming?
Yeah.
But of course, it's the Welsh connection there, and and they're very proud of that in Argentina, and of course what they call Patagonia. So I'm down in Patagonia. I have a fabulous time down there. I will go down to Antarctica, and all this is happening on the news in Japan. Oh, the other side of the world. I then fly from Punta Arenas, Chile, back to the UK. And within 3 weeks, my world, everyone's world, changed drastically. And especially for my son, Tom, my eldest boy, Tom, who contracted the COVID-19 virus and was in hospital at the University Hospital of Wales, affectionately known as the Heath Hospital in Cardiff, and there he was on a ventilator for over a month, in hospital for nearly 8 weeks, and he nearly died. The doctors rang me and said, these are the words, you must understand your son is critical, and you should start now preparing for the worst.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, it's like you said, it's one thing when, you lose your work and your gigs and you've travelled so much, but then it makes it so real then, doesn't it? When something like that happens, because that all goes out the window, doesn't it? Nothing else matters in the world. Your son's in intensive care with COVID, and you're told the worst. I mean, how did you feel? How did you react?
Well, one, I just couldn't tell Tom's mum. I just couldn't tell her that I had that phone call, because we used to call the hospital between us about 6 times a day, and we're trying to understand what the sister on the ward, on intensive care, was trying to say, because they had the masks on. So there was some points all we heard was, and all you can do is go, thank you very much, thank you, But on a, they're angels. These people are angels. I truly believe when something like this happens to you, you think, these nurses, man, what they put themselves through, and the doctors, but especially the nurses, they realised that my son Tom had his 31st birthday whilst he was in a coma. So 2 of the nurses knelt down at his bedside and sang happy birthday to him.
Wow.
Whilst he was in a coma. And then they told me that they'd done that.
Oh, stunning. See, it's just, I know you can't put into words, can you?
No.
They are just magnificent people. They really are.
They deserve, so much more. One thing I won't do is talk politics with you, but, when you think that 1% was offered for a pay rise, come on, Boris,
Well, it's put it all into perspective now. I mean, there are so many people that are demanding, that they are looked after, cared for, and have the respect and have the recompense that they deserve, because
absolutely,
they really are on the front line, and what they've had to deal with. It's just incredible.
Oh, absolutely. So a huge shout out to anybody who works from the NHS.
Yes.
Down in Pembrokeshire there. The wonderful hospitals that you have there. Withybush is a brilliant hospital.
It certainly is.
I remember my brother Philip was rushed there with an asthma attack, and I called in to see him, and then I made him laugh, and I made him worse, apparently.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's one thing you're very infectious at, Mike. You always make us laugh, and a wonderful talent you have, my man. So, I mean, how on earth did he pull through? Did he get through? I mean, as he's 31 years of age in a coma.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrific, isn't it? I mean, it really can affect anyone and everyone, which you saw firsthand.
The day came when he was to come home, and he wanted to come home. The doctors were against it, really. They wanted him to stay in longer, but his mum, Tom's mum, she's a nurse. She worked in intensive care back in the day, and they thought, well, she's qualified to nurse him back to strength. Well, when we got him home, we picked him up. It took about 15 minutes just to get him into the passenger seat. Then when we got him home, it took 20 minutes to get him out of the car, up the drive, and into the front door. Now, 20 minutes sounds like nothing.
Oh no.
But when you're doing not even half an inch with your feet, just try, and then you're exhausted. And he had a Zimmer frame, love him, and how we got, I don't know, we finally got him indoors, and then he started telling us all about his dreams that he was having in the coma, because what happens with your brain is your brain has to find, what's real. So you're in a coma, and then your brain can't quite work out what's going on. So then you start to dream something, and that you then start to believe it. So my son thought he was in Cyprus. That sounds ridiculous. And when he came out of his coma, of course, he couldn't speak. He couldn't speak at all, and his memory was shot to bits. But then all of a sudden, alarms are going off. They all rush in, and he's going... And what he was trying to say was, where's my mobile phone? Where's my passport? Where's my wallet? Because he thinks he's been... and he doesn't understand where he is.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if there's any positive you can take away from it, at least he thought he had a nice holiday. While all the nurses were there caring for him and singing happy birthday, at least he was on the beach, sunning it up, having a cocktail, enjoying himself in his head.
Yeah, and when, of course, things were a little lighter in terms of mood, he was like starting to improve. We said that to him. We said, hey, well, you were on that bed there in a coma. So I was worried sick about you all 24/7. You're in Cyprus, having a cocktail, So yeah. Oh. But you know what? He's doing really well. He's 90% there.
That's wonderful news.
So he's just over a year, but it's taken this long, and he's not really fully there yet. But we can tell you he's 90% there. Well, and I thank everybody who commented on social media, and it went nuts. He was like thousands. There literally was thousands of comments and on Twitter, people just praying for him, thinking of him, and thinking of us as a family. And so thank you to everybody who did that. And also my heart goes out to those whose families had people, didn't make it. Not everybody survived this awful virus. And honestly, my heart really goes out to you guys, because it really is one nasty old thing if you get it bad.
It is. Well, Tommy, we're delighted you are recovered, and you're so much better now, and I'm sure you'll be back on the cruise ships in no time. Hopefully, like you will be, Mike, at some point. Well, yes. Funny enough, Princess Cruises, Matt Baker, our presenter at the time, he was on one of the cruise ships out there, cruise director, and Len Bateman was on that cruise as well, the one that got stuck and stranded. They were on lockdown for some 40 odd days. They couldn't leave their cabins. Just incredible, And I mean, how all these stories unravelled. And before you know it, we were doing an emergency COVID service and all broadcasting at home. It's incredible how quickly it turned and how it changed. And, I don't think the world will ever be the same. But I think one thing we do have to remember, as you rightly said, is, sadly, a lot of people have lost their lives during all this. So,
yes, they have, And as much as what I celebrate Tom's recovery, and he's still with us, but, alongside that, I can't help but feel for the people that didn't make it and how their families are feeling. So,
and this is how the single has come about then.
Yes. A single. My goodness me. Well, the legend that is Vernon Hopkins, who used to be Tom Jones's bass player.
Awesome bass player.
So he has written this song called The Face of Kindness. And I was contacted by a lovely lady, Karen Struhl White, and she then spoke with Vernon, and all this back and forth until I got the lyrics. Nothing was real until I got the lyrics. I could see in black and white, and I just thought, verse 1, I've seen the face of kindness, nurses working night and day, risking lives while saving others, a debt that we can never repay. And I thought, whoa, what's this? That's just verse 1. Well, then I get to hear the demo, and I thought, I've got to be involved in this. They saved my son's life. Yeah. I have to say thank you. Somehow I've got to. So we went to the studios called Pinewood Audio Studios in South Wales with Carl Simmons, brilliant producer. He did the track. I went in, I hadn't sang for a year. So I thought, my gosh, how am I going to get through this song? And it's a bit of a sing, you know.
It's got some real high notes in it, I'll give you that.
Oh, well, yeah, and the rest.
Yeah.
So we put it together, and it's been taken on by Prestige Elite Records, and it's on all platforms, your iTunes and Amazon and YouTube and Deezer and Spotify and all that, 99p. And all proceeds going to the NHS. I mean, yeah, it is the very least I can do.
Yeah. So,
and I hope to do more for them in the way of concerts and all sorts of things in the future.
Yeah, and we'll play it in just a short time. Before you go, Mike, any sort of gigs that you've got lined up yet? Is there anything going on? Yes. Fantastic. Tell me more.
Well, on the 26th of July, I'm on the Cunard Queen Elizabeth, joining in Southampton. I'm back on a cruise ship, going around the UK waters, calling into places like Glasgow, Invergordon. We'd be calling into Belfast and Liverpool and Holyhead. Ooh. That'd be nice. The Queen Elizabeth calling in Holyhead in Anglesey, you know. So I was hoping they'd call into Fishguard as well.
Yeah,
you know,
that would be nice. We'd come and say hello.
I know. I could actually come down, do an interview with you.
Yeah, it would be marvellous.
And go and have lunch in my favourite place in the whole wide world, which is Tenby, and then equally as beautiful at Saundersfoot. Do you know, it's God's country, man. Do you know what? Pembrokeshire.
I know.
Gee, people have said to me, because I've been everywhere, you know, more or less. Been to lots of places, from Alaska to Australia.
Yeah, you know, Japan, you've seen the world, you know. I mean, you've been on every cruise ship, you know. You've been there, done that, and got every T-shirt. But
if you ask me, where's your favourite place? To me, it just... I'm not just saying this, Pure West Radio. I'm not just saying this, but
Send me your bank details after.
I think Pembrokeshire, I think Tenby, and Saundersfoot, for me...
They're the two for you,
you know, and I love to walk from Saundersfoot across to Wise Man's Bridge, have a drink at the Wise Man's Bridge Inn.
Yes, now we're talking.
You know, I just think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. When the sun shines on that coast, my goodness me.
Oh, it's beautiful,
and, you know,
isn't it?
It's stunning. And St. David's and doing that coastal walk overlooking to Ramsey Island is just stunning. The Preseli Mountains. I love it. And I actually love Milford Haven. I know people say, that's not really a destination.
No,
but
I
love Milford Haven, man. I love it.
Milford has gone right up there the last couple of years. I can't tell you. The marina, the work the Port Authority have done, it is fantastic. In fact, I went down to a wonderful restaurant called Impasto. Number one on TripAdvisor. They won the best pizza in West Wales. And so I thought, I've got to go and sample it. You know, I'll treat the lady to something quite nice. You know, first time we've gone out indoors to eat, freezing our absolute nads off with our woolly ass on inside. Go somewhere nice. Went to Impasto, and I tell you what, delissimo. It was fantastic. So no, Milford, I'm with you on that. It's one of my favourite places.
Well, the Torch Theatre is one of my most favourite venues that I work, you know, on my little theatre circuit. Always a huge welcome there. You know what? I don't think I've ever not sold out there. It's always been a great night for us. We get so professionally run. Yeah. Brilliant backstage. That the crew there are second to none. Just, you know, even back in the Peter Doran days, you know, they produced their own theatre. It's just incredible. The panto and the plays that they put on there.
Yeah, great facility.
Yeah, I love it. I love Milford Haven.
Well, we can't wait to get you back. And quite a few of your fans getting in touch with us this afternoon, actually, Mike. Kelly Davis says hello. Mike from Pembroke Dock and Cheryl Evans says hello as well. And we can't wait to see you back on the stage and enjoy your cruise. I'm at Oakwood on Saturday, so I've got my first gig on the way. I'm looking forward to playing to all the families there on the stage. But it's great that things are happening. Mike, it's an absolute pleasure to play you this single. If you would do the absolute honour of introducing it for us here on Pure West Radio.
Thank you. I'd love to do that. Well, coming up now on Pure West Radio, very exciting. This is my own single, all proceeds going to the NHS, written by Vernon Hopkins, and the song is called The Face of Kindness.
I have seen the face of kindness, nurses working night and day, risking lives while saving others, a debt that we can never repay. I've heard the voice of kindness, doctors saying it's okay. I believe them when they tell me they won't leave me, they will stay. Of kindness, hands that gently lift and turn, soothe my weak and ravaged body as the fever starts to burn. I've seen the eyes of kindness forever watching over me when I'm awake or when I'm sleeping. Friendly face I'll see, willing me to find that rainbow shining through the pouring rain, and bathe in all its glory once again. I have known the power of kindness, willing me to fight and win, the kind of love that speaks devotion that only comes from deep within. And through my days and nights of fear, through every moment filled with pain, I won't forget the grace of kindness that gave me hope to live again. Oh, willing me to find that rainbow leading to the rainbow's end, see the world in all its glory once again. Willing me to find that rainbow leading to the rainbow's end, see the world in all its glory once again. Once again.
Woo, what a anthem. And that's why it is a coronavirus anthem. It's The Face of Kindness by Mike Doyle right here on Pure West Radio. Please support the NHS and go and download it. It's 99p, do your bit, and also you get that wonderful song as well for the absolute pleasure of downloading that track. 99p, all going to NHS charities. Do it, you won't regret it. And also just, you've got a wonderful tune by the legendary Mike Doyle. And thanks ever so much to Mike for joining us on the show.